Jim, really nice to meet you. Looking forward
Thank
to
you.
the
Me
chat
too.
here. And just to get some of the basics out of the way, from Overland Park, Kansas. We can tell by your background you're a fan of all sports involving Kansas and Kansas City. It also
For
said
sure.
on your questionnaire, you say that you are a software designer and executive. And I can imagine in this world of technology and advancement that being a software designer is sort of a nonstop, ever changing lifestyle. Is that accurate?
For sure. Yeah, we do supply chain mobility software, and especially in the supply chain space over the last year with all the news about chip shortages and everything else. It's been definitely a crazy time, and so yeah, I'm in the product side of that, so help with the design of the software and kind of the voice of the customer and what they want.
So, supply chain, are you the person we should be directing all of our complaints to when something is not arriving on time?
Well, we,
You're
we
probably
we
getting
we help we help it get there quicker. So we're
oh,
the
good.
guys. We're the good guys here.
You're actually solving the problem.
Yes.
Awesome. You are 49 years old, Jim. You have 3 children. What are the ages of your kids?
My ages are 13, 18, and 21, and actually turned 50 this last weekend.
Oh, you are 50.
Yes.
Congratulations and happy birthday.
Thank you.
You you wrote that you have yo-yoed up and down with your weight your entire life, and that because of your job and you're busy and you have 3 kids, and it's probably the same story that a lot of people have. It's we're just too busy to take the time to focus, to eat right, to make the right kind of meals and all that kind of stuff. Um, at what point did this become like, I am taking control of this and I am doing something about it?
Well, I had a little bit of a rude awakening with a heart attack last summer, and that was the kick in the pants that I really needed to really make a big change and decide that I wanted this to be the last time I lost weight in my life. I've actually ran a couple of marathons in my past, so I've done the things that have been necessary to get in shape and to do what's right to eat right and to exercise, and then literally I achieved the goal and I'm done. I stopped running, so I've ran Chicago 2 times in '03 and '06, and those were great accomplishments. But yet I immediately began gaining weight after each event, and put myself back in a worse situation than I was before I started. So I just really came to the conclusion that I want to be there for my grandkids, and I think it's kind of time of my life where if I don't do something now, I might not ever do something, and so I felt like it was bigger than just lowering my calorie intake or trying to do some exercise, but make real
Mhm.
changes.
A heart attack last summer at 49?
Yes.
Okay, that really is a wake-up call.
Yes.
That I mean,
Yeah.
you don't need any more than that. Was it like as soon as you recovered and were back at home that this was on your to-do list at the
Yeah.
very top?
Yeah. It was while at the hospital even. I just I decided that I did not want that experience again if I could do anything about it. And yeah, I mean, and there's genetic components and there's other things that can draw people into that. I know people that are runners that are in healthy shape that have had heart attacks. So it's
Mhm.
not, but I didn't want I wanted to do the things that I could control and the risk factors that I could manage to make that happen. And consequently, the heart attack that I had was called the LAD heart attack, which is the widowmaker. And I had luckily was
Oh,
in the
wow.
hospital when I had the heart attack because there's about a 12% chance of survival if you're not.
Wow. So
Yeah,
but you were in the hospital because you felt it
yeah,
coming on? Okay, so you
yeah,
were in the right spot. Holy cow.
yeah,
So you are blessed, and
for sure.
when you started this program then, after you're out of the hospital and you've had this wake-up call, and you start with a coach and the meal plans and all of that, is it at that point overwhelming at all to you, or just totally welcomed, open arms? How did it start?
I would say that there was both. There was times where because I was used to anytime I felt a little bit of hunger, I was used to putting food in my mouth, and so changing those habits was sometimes early on in the first few weeks could be a little overwhelming at times, and discouraging. But over time, and seeing the results that I saw, and still continue to see, those things really helps kind of sustain you. And I think and my counselor Isaiah, he's awesome. We actually I make up an appointment this afternoon. I look forward to meeting with him, and my wife and I both do. And uh, he 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 doesn't sit there and there's never any judgment if I have a bad week, or if maybe you haven't had to gain a pound a week or something, which has been very rare for me. But there's times where you fluctuate, and it's always encouragement. It's always, hey, have you thought about trying this, or even just talking about his own journey has been really really encouraging.
Oh yeah, there are. That is true. A lot. Some of the counselors, the coaches have gone through exactly what you're going through, what I've gone through, and the relatability is really incredible when you have a counselor who is, or I keep saying counselor, coach. When you have a coach who is like, yeah, Jim, I was there, I did
Yeah,
this, and this was my struggle, and you
for
realize that
sure.
the person has done the same thing. Um, you had written that the night of your heart attack, you were also diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
Right.
And explain the measurement or your count and how that has changed with
Yeah.
profile.
Yeah, so I had a 11.4 A1C that was tested. So I didn't know that I was diabetic going to, so I had kind of two big whammies in the same night.
Mm.
I would imagine that, and not from any kind of medical knowledge on my part, but just based on some of the things that I've researched, that the diabetes and the uncontrolled blood sugar was probably a big factor in why I had a heart attack in the first place. And so I had like I said, a 11.4 A1C. I got my blood sugar tested again. That was June 18th that I had the heart attack. I had it tested again on August 7th, and it was down to a 7.4. And then I had it tested again on November 5th, and it was down to a 5.5, which is actually in the normal range. So,
Wow.
so from a testing perspective, if I had entered into and went to the doctor and got a 5.5 and never had any type 2 diabetic, I wouldn't be a diabetic. So, so from any traces of diabetes, that's really gone. And so, the difference on how I feel just from that. And again, I kind of talked to my company about this, and one of the things that I kind of described it. It was kind of the frog in the boiling water, and just not really realizing how bad I was beginning to feel. Having to go home and conk out on the couch to take a nap,
Mm.
and just not having any energy to do things. And so and let alone just kind of just the aches and creaks and etc. that you just when you're not feeling good in general, that you get. And so the difference that that's made has been dramatic. And I really do think that the diabetes, and completely getting that under control, and having normalized blood sugar is been a really really critical thing for making me feel a lot better just in general health.
What has your doctor or doctors said, especially the ones who are checking you and your heart and your diabetes and your general wellness? What's been their reaction?
Well, so actually I had a it was in the early November timeframe as well. I had to met with my cardiologist, and having my 6 month, after I guess it was maybe 5 months. Anyway, having it, and they had done an echocardiogram to test my heart, and actually after my heart attack, I had actually had some heart damage. So it's kind of weird to think, but a healthy heart kicks out like a 55% oxygen at the bottom side of the heart, and I was down to 45%. So it actually had reduced.
Mm.
So I did have some damage from the heart attack. Well, back in the test that I had follow up, and this was a combination of weight loss and exercise. I was back up to 55, and he said basically it was like you had not had a heart attack, so you had
Oh
healed
my gosh.
essentially your heart.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. How rare is that?
he was. I mean, he didn't say how rare it was, but he acted very pleased, and
Not
that I
bad.
had, and he said just kind of keep what you're doing, and I have a follow up here in another couple months, and we'll keep at it. But yeah, it was really encouraging to hear, and exciting to be able to know that maybe I kind of gotten myself back to par.
Yeah, that's incredible. You almost healed your own diabetes and healed your own heart.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. So is it all better now, and is it super easy and you're just free and clear every single day, or do you deal with some of the struggles and the temptations that,
Sure.
are
Yeah.
part
I
of
mean,
every human?
I've had, in the last, couple months, I've had Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's,
The
the
50th birthday?
with a 50th birthday, with the Chiefs in playoff games, I mean, so it's been kind of a little bit of an onslaught, and and I've actually, and I considered it over the holidays. I'm like, if I can just maintain my weight, through the holidays, not gain anything. I actually lost a couple pounds over that period, and and I didn't, you know uh, I still took it seriously, but I also did not just have to be digital about everything either.
Mhm.
So I do want to be able to enjoy with being with my family, family in from traveling and such. So again, not to did not go crazy, was able to manage all those things, but was able to actually find success when I mean, normally I probably typically put on 5-10 pounds during that period. So that was really a big success for me, I felt.
Yeah, so it sounds like you didn't deprive yourself. You maybe
No,
didn't you allowed you I mean, your
I
birthday.
managed myself.
Yeah, you manage.
I had control, and was able to, and I had the tools to be able to do that. That was really, I think, the key was, and actually I talked to my counselor about it going into it, and I was kind of worried about it. I was, and he was like, he's like, it's good to want to be in control of that, and good to want to have success during that period of time, but you also need to be able to give yourself a break. If you have a bad day, if you mess up one day, okay, start the next day,
Mhm.
and don't sit there and get down about it, because you're going to have days where you go off plan, and you know what, the next day is the next day, and pick up and move on, and and I've talked to my doctor about it. He goes, you know what? If you have a piece of cake for your birthday, okay, have a piece of cake for your birthday. I mean, I'm sure that profile doesn't like to hear that sometimes, but my doctor's like, you've done a lot of hard work to get to where you're at. He's like, don't, you know, don't kill yourself for having an off day. Just don't make it a habit. And one of the things that Isaiah said to me, and I thought was really great, is he's like, it's a holiday, not a hol week. Make it a holiday, not a hol week.
Have a piece of cake, don't
Yeah.
have the whole cake.
Yeah, exactly. Or a small piece of cake.
Yeah, and it sounds like, Jim, you've had a really incredible year, and not all of it positive. How would you say you look, feel, act, all of that? How is it different now compared to 1 year ago, or just leading up to the point where you actually had that heart attack?
Well, can I say one thing? I actually consider my heart attack a gift, and
You do.
yes, I very much so. And again, I wasn't going to, because I mean, I'd look at myself in the mirror every night and just be disappointed that I had another day where I was not making the decisions I should be making, and knew I wasn't. So I needed to have something, and so I feel like that was a divine thing that happened to me that I that and I consider it a gift, and I consider it a responsibility that I was given that gift.
Mm,
So
what a
so
great way
I
to look at it.
I kind of forgot your quite yeah like
Just how different, yeah, from 1 year ago or anywhere leading up to the heart attack, the gift, how different is life physically, emotionally, mentally for you right now?
For sure, physically it's easier. I recently traveled a couple trips on work, and just even that putting the seatbelt on in the airplane and not having the seatbelt, you know,
Mhm.
at its wits end, trying to get on, get on me, versus having some slack in the seatbelt to be able to. So even little things like that, you notice. Clothing, just being able to actually go to a normal store and buy extra large t-shirt versus a triple X t-shirt, and so even some kind of silly things, if you will, like that. But then just having the energy, for my kids. I mean, I've still got a 13-year-old, so and he's a
Mhm.
athletic kid. A lot of competitions that we go to. Soccer games, football games, basketball games, and so being able to have the energy to do that stuff is really important to me, and so I definitely there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that.
Mm. And you know that there are people listening to this who see themselves in you and are wondering if they're headed down that same path that ultimately ends with a heart attack or a diabetes diagnosis or anything along those lines. What do you say to the person who's hearing your story, seeing themselves and contemplating, what do I do?
Well, I would say is one, uh, don't do the same thing I did, which was ignore some of the signs. Be educated, so there are things. Find out about. I was starting to have some vision problems and some other things that beforehand, if I would have known some of the signs of type 2 diabetes, I would have maybe known it was there already, and could have dealt with it. And I'm a little bit of kind of person that even if I sometimes know maybe bad news is on the horizon, I maybe sometimes want to shove it off to the side and not deal with it. And so don't do that. If you think that there is potential concern, go get checked out and go get and there's kind of two tests. One, I mean, on diabetes, having an A1C test is important to do at your doctor's office, and having a physical. The other thing is on heart attack is there's a calcium scan that you can do, and it can also tell you if your risk factors for heart. And I actually have a couple friends who've done that since,
Mm.
and one of them in the clear, and the other one, he actually had some minor buildup, and so he was like, you know what, I want to deal with
And then get healthy,
it. Yeah,
lose some weight.
for sure.
Yeah. And it's all part of your physical and mental well being. And sounds like you are in a really good place now.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel better, and every day, and I want to keep. I've got some little bit more weight I'd like to lose too, so I'm not done with my journey yet. And so if I could drop another 15 or so pounds, I'd be really pleased about that.
And so you're still on the profile plan, you're on the reduction, you're still
Yeah,
working at it.
yeah, I'm yes, I am.
Well, you know what? I don't think there's anyone who doubts you're gonna get there. So, good luck to you, Jim. Keep at
All
it.
right, thank you,
Congratulations. Awesome.
appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good
Thank
day.
Yeah, and thanks for your willingness to share everything that happened to you and the road you've been on and that gift of that heart attack. Man, that is an incredible story you're telling. So, thank you for your willingness to share it with us.
Sure,
Appreciate it.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Jim Hoskins from Overland Park, Kansas, our guest today. Thank you all for listening, for watching this episode of Profiles in Health and Wellness.